What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Ethereum today, ETH USD. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the 21st day of June. Here we are on this lovely Sunday with about 8 hours left in the day, 8 hours, 20 minutes left in the day. Sitting here at a price of $1,730. We've been moving up from our lows on the 6th of June here, and we are actually now seeing a little bit of correction within this correction. If we're looking at this from a low to a high, that was not the low, from a low to a high there, we did wick below the 382 and then closed right above it. That's actually fairly normal to do, even when working your way down, let alone when you're bouncing. I don't like how low we got below the 382. I don't think that would imply that we're going higher right now, at least. That's not on the high either. Actually, we went all the way down to the 0.5. It's somewhat common to hit your 0.5 and then go to your 236 actually. So perhaps we do pump up to 1761. We're at 1730 now, but I do believe inevitably we probably do go lower to this golden ratio zone, 1627 to 1600 essentially, right there, right where we found support before, and this little knot. It makes sense to me, man. It makes sense to me. We didn't really find support at the top, so we'll probably come down and find support at the bottom of this little knot right here. So let's look at the short-term stuff and see if that confirms or denies what we were just theorizing there. Looking at this on the 1 hour time frame, a little bit of volume coming in for a Sunday on the 1 hour, not bad. Moving up over the weekend, I'm not too fond of the price action to come over the coming week. We can see here that you're starting to slip out of this little trend that you have. You do have some volume coming in, but you needed that volume here, man. You need to start moving up. I don't think that this is good. You've got lower highs, lower lows kind of forming right here. Looks like things are starting to shift, maybe. 1 hour RSI tried to show strength, but again, talking about shifting, you were going from a higher low, higher high trend in the RSI to now you are moving down. Typically, these trends, they end in the overbought zone, or if it's a downtrend, it ends in the oversold zone. And right now we're at about the 50, so I think we have a little bit more to go. We'll probably start this next week off to a red note. The stochastics are here at the 50, perfect area to reject and come lower and get oversold. The MACD, if we're looking at this here, it was green for a while. Now you're actually starting to build bearish momentum. What I will say, and there's a positive note here, is that you're at the zero level right here. And oftentimes enough, we do see the oscillators find support right at that zero level. Whether it's just above it like this right here, or you go a little bit below it, you find support, maybe something like this, whatever. We do typically wrestle with this area a little bit, but being that it's the 1 hour time frame, I wouldn't hold my breath over that. But if you want to get excited, the last time that we found support somewhere over here, we went a little bit lower and we still pumped. We saw a nice little pump there relative to the 1 hour time frame. So maybe we get saved a little bit here. We'll see. Daily time frame or 4 hour time frame, looking at the RSI, we are at this area. Hold on. We're at this area here where we've found resistance before. We're a little bit below there even. Getting overbought, which is nice. Not getting oversold, which is actually nice as well. Bouncing off the 50. Yeah, that's actually not a bad looking RSI, if we're being fair. So again, yeah, maybe you do go up a little bit first before coming down. 1760, I believe, was the idea, right? Let's see, 1760. Yeah, 1760, 1762, whatever, something. And maybe you come up and you find resistance right here where you found support for like a day, and then you come back down. That could happen. What about this trend line here? Nope, not what I thought it was. Yeah, I mean, if we came back up to the 236 here, found some resistance in that area, we might be back testing this line for resistance and then coming down. That happens sometimes as well. I don't know if I like that though. That line's kind of I don't know how well respected that is. We'll just disregard that. 4 hour time frame, stochastics are overbought, coming down, kind of a bearish look. The 4 hour MACD, now here's the opposite of the 1 hour, right? The 1 hour is looking like it wants to find support here at the zero, whereas the 4 hour, to me at least, looks like we could be finding resistance here. Your bullish momentum's dying off. You were green for a while. You're just starting to get frisky with the red. I think that you could come down. So if we do see this move up to 1760, we're at 1730. It's not world shattering. It's not like narrative changing. But if we do see that move, it probably happens soon, like today or very early tomorrow, and then it doesn't last long. We come back down rather immediately. There's nothing this is not promised. We do not have to go up here. Ultimately, I do believe that we're going to go down to the golden ratio, which is about $100 away to $130 away from where the price is right now. Looking at the daily time frame, MACD is interesting, bearish overall, but interesting. The RSI is rejecting the 50, looks bearish to me, and the stochastic's not even getting overbought after being oversold for so long. I mean, you're definitely in weak territory here. You're not looking your strongest by any means. Bitcoin's moving up a little bit over this last hour. That's in lower highs though. I'm not too excited about that. Yeah, we probably come down. Do we see lower lows? That's the question here. Low here to a high there. We might see lower lows, you guys. Wow, this is actually looking pretty bad. The more we zoom out, the worse it gets. The best it looks is on the 1 hour time frame, which means maybe by the time you watch this, we're up a little bit. But again, that's not promised. I think over the coming days, maybe even over the coming weeks, we have significantly lower to go. Potentially as low as $1,400. Ethereum genuinely by the end of this month of June may be at $1,400, if not sometime in early July. I could very well see that happen. The reason I'm calling for that is we bounced off the 1414. And then you rejected the 886 right here, which might not sound significant to you. Let's do it in a different sense, okay? You broke out with heavy volume, and then you came back and you found resistance, rejected prior support. What do you think is going to happen? Is this a situation you want to be in? Do you feel confident about this low? It doesn't build confidence in the low for me. So to me, looking at it that way, and then also using the fibs. The fibs for me, I don't really need to see the other stuff that we just went over, but for some people they think the fibs are woo woo, so we can go over something that's a little bit more practical. I don't want to say practical, standard for people to wrap their heads around, right? Finding resistance at prior support, that's pretty standard. No volume coming in to save the day, and you're starting to reject down. You literally reject it down. That's pretty standard stuff, right? Let alone the fibs here, where you go from the 1414 to the 886 like this, you typically do go down to your golden ratio, right? You wouldn't know that if you're new to the fibs. Like you're kind of like, how do you know that rejecting here would take you down here? It's not that every time you reject the 886 that it means you're going to the golden ratio, but the fibs, the way that they work is like a stair step. Okay, you last found support here, you last found resistance here, which means that the next time you find resistance will probably be at a lower fib level, which also means that the next time you find support will probably be at a lower fib level. I'm being nice by saying $1,400 is coming our way. It could be lower. Ethereum, genuinely, Ethereum by the end of this month or sometime in July could be worth $1,300 or less. But then we're getting, I think, a little bit extreme on this move down. I think we already saw the extreme move. Right now, we're just messing with people. We're going to mess with your emotions. So I think a slightly lower low is more than adequate for that. And $1,400 golden ratio zone from this prior low to high retracement extension. It's perfect. Let's see if anything lines up with the relative move that we have here, even from a low to a high here. Right there, you're 1 for 1 for. Wouldn't that be perfect? You bounce off this 1 for 1 for. Here you bounce off this 1 for 1 for, going just below that golden ratio, but still finding support in that zone. I think it would be perfect. Anyways, that's all I have. Ultimately, I suppose right now we are eyeballing that $1,400 target. Doesn't mean that we go there. Things can change. Again, typically you stair step at the fib. So if we come down and we find support at the 1272, if we find support here, at a higher level, we get a higher low, and then, oh, that was a weird breath in, and then we come back up. You know, if we find support at 1585, 1600, and then we come back up to this level that we're at now, the ball's in the bull's court, and we really could see prices that are closer to $2,000 before ever going down here. Inevitably, I think we will work our way down here, but things can change. It's not totally promised right now, but at the moment, you really are looking frisky, like you want to go to 1400. I'm not as confident in that as I am in saying that we're going to go down to that $1,600 level. Very confident that we're going to go to $1,600 probably sometime within the next week or two, if I had to guess. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. 1400 could be also within the next week or two, or maybe it's by the end of the month or early July. And yes, we could go lower. I don't think we will, but it is possible. It's something to be aware of. Take care. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.